President sign an extension that does not include a tax on millionaires to pay for it?
The President looks forward to the Senate voting on the bill that Senate Democrats are putting forward that pays for an extension and expansion of the payroll tax cut in a way that Senate Democrats support, the President supports, Democrats, Independents, and Republicans support around the country. Republicans support everywhere apparently except on Capitol Hill.
Just to move that conversation along.
Well, I don't want to.
Republicans will
I'm not
likely
going
vote
to
against
negotiate.
it, and it's going to fail, and so it will likely end up in an omnibus
Well,
with a
before
defense
we-
bill or a continuing resolution. So is the
But
President
Norah,
going to back
before-
down and sign an extension of the payroll tax cut extension without the?
Well, I'm not going to negotiate an end game here before this vote has even happened, and I think it's not fair to the American people to sort of just say, oh well, they're going to vote against it. Let's ignore that and move on and see what they might vote for. Because here's what Senator McConnell said about the payroll tax cut in early 2009. He suggested that we should have a 2-year elimination of the payroll tax. It put a lot of money back in the hands of businesses and in the hands of individuals, both of whom pay the payroll tax cut. Senator John Kyle, who had something else to say about it yesterday, said in late 2009, you can do some things to stimulate job creation, and certainly something like reducing the payroll tax cut, which has been written about recently, would accomplish that. Job creation. That must be a good thing, right? Senator Hutchison, I think the payroll tax cut does help some. It helps the individual who is working and the employer. Senator Alexander in late 2010 said, if you're a small business person in Tennessee, what this means is that you won't be paying tens of thousands of dollars, perhaps more in taxes, and you can use that to create a job. It also means that your employees who work there will get a 1/3 reduction in their payroll tax payments every 2 weeks, and maybe they'll spend some more money creating more jobs. We couldn't have said it better. Senator Hatch called it a conservative approach to help put our economy back on track, a targeted, reasonable way to get employers hiring again. This is a conservative approach, as I said. Now, obviously these Republican senators believe that a payroll tax cut is a good thing, at least they did. But what they seem not to believe is that millionaires and billionaires ought to pay a little extra in order to ensure that middle-class Americans get a payroll tax cut. So they're more forced to choose here. They're siding with those who, as the CBO study showed and others have showed, have done exceptionally well in the last 10 years, even 30 years, while middle-class Americans have seen their incomes stagnate. We just don't think that's the right position. We don't think that the American people support that position. And before senators are forced to vote on that matter, as they will later this week, and explain why they'd rather see taxes go up on regular Americans than see millionaires and billionaires pay a little bit more, before we get beyond that, I want to see that vote happen.
And then just a quick question on Pakistan. Did the President make any calls on Pakistan?
I have no calls to report out to you.
And if NATO forces or American forces are fired on from Pakistani military bases, are they allowed to defend themselves?
I think that's a question best directed towards ISAF and to the Pentagon. I would say if it's a question about this incident that we are just beginning an investigation into what happened.